And you guys are on the council agenda, you know that, right?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, so.
I wanted to
Think
be
I was-
her here in case she got lost. Water ball, I'm not.
All right, it is 5:30. We'll call this September 2nd, Board of Works meeting to order. Please rise and come to the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all. Clerk Treasurer Price, can you please call the roll?
Mary Hicks.
Here.
Rena Maxwell.
Present.
Ms. Pingery.
Present.
All right, very good. Thank you. We'll go ahead and do these meeting minutes separate. You guys have been presented the meeting minutes for the August 15th special meeting and also the August 18th regular meeting minutes. We'll start out with the August 15th special meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Spencer, second. Any discussions, subtractions, additions to the August 15th special meeting minutes?
No.
All right, here and now I have a motion, a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Motion passes. On to the August 18th regular session meetings minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Same. Is there any discussion, additions, subtractions for the regular August 18th meeting minutes? All right, here now, all in favor of approving, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, motion carries. Next item of business is the September 2nd claims totaling $320,970.66. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion, a second on the floor. Any discussion or questions regarding the claims submitted for September 2nd? All right, there are none. All in favor of approving the claims totaling $328,970.66, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
And I, motion carries. All right, on to our regular business portion of the meeting. First item is going to be the Mooring Heights Cemetery. I just spoke briefly with our legal team, Amber, on some things that we need to put into place prior to rolling this out, which I think we can now, but we're just trying to tweak some small things that will make it consistent, streamline what we do, and move forward with it. Amber, you want to give us a brief description on some things that we're looking at implementing prior to?
Yes, so the first thing would be the drive in the new section. There was some verification I did last week to make sure that the 12-foot drive depicted in the recorded plat is correct, and the surveyor did let me know that while the drive was added to paper, the whiskers were not removed. So when we go to lay the drive, the westernmost whiskers will need to be removed, except probably the first and the last, so that it denotes the drive, but there should be sufficient room for the 12-foot drive. So the Board of Works should consider what the cost would be, materials, etc. The second item the Board of Works as a cemetery board should consider is putting more permanent corner markers where the whiskers are. And speaking with Alan George last week, it seems like it's customary to have something like a concrete corner marker. So that could be considered in replacing the more temporary whiskers so that this plots or markings are maintained.
And for public information, whiskers are the markers for each plat, or
Yes.
just a little plastic piece that sticks out of the ground for reference, so.
And then the Board of Works, should also consider, putting a policy and a procedure in place to, close a loophole in communicating when a, burial is going to take place and who's going to be buried. Because right now, there really isn't consistent communication with, the clerk treasurer office, so that any plat or burial plots that are sold, that the city could verify that whoever is the owner is actually being buried there.
Alright, so we'll start with first things first. I know we have some funds in the budget for this year for maintenance of the cemetery, so we won't have to do anything with that other than get Aaron Lyons from the street department, or if we want to contract it out. We'll have to decide on how we want to do that, because the drives need to be put in place for people start burying their loved ones there. So when I was talking to Amber earlier, right now they would have to park out on County Road 300 North and essentially just walk. So there is a drive to the east. However, if someone was back over on 86 or one of these further west lots, they would basically have to walk all the way over. So the drives, do we want to have I don't think it was ever languaged how to do it, other than we just know that there's gonna be a drive to replicate the previous section. So we're gonna have a drive down the side and one down the middle. Does the board wish to have that done by our departments? Or do we want to contract that out?
The state costs to have our guys do it.
Makes sense to me.
And then the second portion, we're gonna call Alan George tomorrow, get some further details on. For the, well, we have all the quotes and all that, but having him as our vendor. Like she said, to have it streamlined, that the contact would be between him and Julie. Each time, right? It wouldn't be all over the place. He would know our SOPs, he would know the process. And then we could, the second meeting of September, implement a resolution signifying that he would be the city's contractor for the cemetery. You know, all items included with the site would be between the clerk's office and Alan George as a specific vendor. He's already a vendor for the city, for the wastewater department.
So you want to use him solely for opening and closing graves?
That's the question for the board and for you, because he's already a vendor for the wastewater.
The problem is, and I discussed this with Amber, is because with the book that's downstairs, there have been several times that there have been funerals and burials, and people don't come in and write stuff in there. And so I wrote my own uncle in there when he passed away in April. Only because I knew where he was buried and no one came in to report it in the book. The problem is recording people in that book. So when we have families that come in and say, well, how many plots or how many graves do I have left? My family have left. If nobody has filled it in, and then Alan goes out there to open a grave and, oh, wait, somebody's already there, but it's not in the book. So that's the problem that we're running into with the book that is, like the pages are aged. You can tell that the book has been around for a long time, but people just are very lax about writing in there who's buried where and what they're doing. So that would solve a huge problem.
So it would help having a step-by-step.
Yeah,
within
if
the
somebody would
resolution.
contact and say, hey, listen, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going, this is the burial for this person, they're buried in, and we could turn to that page. If they've already purchased, their family's already purchased those plots or those grave sites, then their name should already be in there and how many they have. And how many are left, but that's an issue that, honestly, I think it's probably gonna take. To update the book, we would probably have to go out there and go through it page by page to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Alan probably knows that cemetery like the back of his hand, and probably could tell us. you know, or someone who is, you know, a funeral director or something that has buried several people there. To maybe update the book, but yes, that would be a solution that would probably work very well, is to have Alan say, hey, I'm opening a grave for this family, it's in this area, let's look at the book and see.
So we could, if the board's consensus is that we establish a city contractor for the cemetery, and if in the event Alan was to retire or whatever, obviously be represented, but it would be consistent with someone that works with the clerk's office, knowing step by step via a resolution of what the process is to keep it streamlined and accurate. So as far as the part that's already done with burials, that'd be something we could ask the historical society to dive into. I don't know that we're ever gonna have time to go out and audit it and all that, but if that was something we chose, but the markers instead of the whiskers. Another decision, do we want to get and I can get some prices for you for the next meeting. The whiskers right now, when we mow, they're gonna get chopped off, they're gonna get mowed over. So there does need to be something that's permanent. They're all surveyed and they're all permanently marked and platted and recorded at the court office. Or the courthouse, but there needs to be something that's more permanent so they don't get chewed up. So with the board's consensus, I can look at some options for that, present that if you so choose at the next Board of Works meeting.
Sounds good.
We could also discuss establishing a contact amongst our board as a main contact to filter questions that may come in to Clerk Treasurer Price, to the board, now that we're the cemetery board. So that you guys don't get questions and not know who to send it to, I would recommend that it go to the mayor, whoever that would be, me at the time. And then I would note to, is it a question for Julie, is it a question for the for Aaron, is it a question for Alan or the vendor, so.
Well, it makes sense that you're here
Yeah,
throughout the week.
with everything on the computer, so. Is there any of these items that are these just discussion points that will move to the next week? There's not an action item tonight, correct?
Right.
Julie, did you have anything you wanted to add while we're on the topic of Morning Heights Cemetery?
Think so, except for I did come across a file that maybe you could look at that has like receipts in there for burial stuff, so that may in fact help us as well.
Sure, if you'd like to email, or if you have those scanned, or I can.
We'll figure something out.
And
We'll
now,
work on it
so
one way or another and get whatever.
discussed with Amber, having a master sheet of this is the final version of the cemetery with the drives added. Having something in the clerk's office that each time one is sold, we have a master version that's available that shows, you know, what's been sold, what's available, and all that. So we can work on that in-house to the easiest way to where everybody can have access to it in-house and know what's available and what's been sold. Any further discussion from the board, Amber or Coach Treasurer Price on Morning Heights Cemetery?
Can any of that process be digitized? They have to be in the book, the physical book.
It is, it's like one of our like
I would say-
resolution ordinance books, it's black, the rest of ours are red, but it's black. And it's got the pages in there and
I'm sure it could be if they wanted to
Yeah.
transfer it over. I think digital would probably be the easier way for future.
But it's
But-
funds in, funds out, so
Yeah.
she has to do the accounts,
Yeah.
State Board of Accounts portion of it as well.
So it's gonna be a double, if she did do a digital, it'd be double. I mean, I think it'd probably be a good idea to have it as digital, just in case something were to happen to that book. And then that way it carries on for future, but
Like a software,
just an Excel sheet
Well, I
would
mean,
work.
even if,
oh, we can do it, software or Excel.
I mean, if the issue is people coming in to record, I mean, is it possible to send them a link to fill out what they need to fill out? Do they have to physically come in?
I would prefer that they come in, so it's documented here, done, and over with, and not just like randomness, because then she can verify who it is. That's what I wanna make sure we're verifying, because they'll take the step out of the verification process if they have to come
I
here.
kind
and
of
do it.
feel like because you can't open and close anything without like, you know, somebody that runs the funeral home or legally, whatever. I feel like it should be the same way with the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody should verify that that person is actually buried there.
Yeah,
It's better for having eyes on it instead of digital.
Right.
Yeah, I don't disagree that moving
think
forward,
that-
maybe one day, but having it in person, maybe there's questions involved as well, so.
I mean, if you put it in the book, it takes, once you get I would just say an Excel sheet that would have
Mhm.
everything there, like
Yeah.
that,
Then
who's
do it
here,
digitally.
but
Backup.
just, it's there and it just can be updated.
Was that what you meant? I didn't know if you meant software or like an Excel, yeah.
Two-part question, like the map and that, like recording where people are.
Yeah, well, I will say the book, like it has a lot, it has the plot number, it has all that stuff. So it could in fact work that way. If in fact all of those things are filled in the way they should be, and we know where everybody is, and that there aren't graves that are filled. That are showing empty in the book.
Correct.
Yeah,
So that being said, if we can get that like on, you said like an Excel spreadsheet, then you can put the lot number and the whatever and have those
Yeah.
those names,
Yeah,
you know,
color coded.
alphabetically or however the map, you know what I mean?
I think what Brianna's saying is she would love to take that task on an Excel sheet designed
I mean,
that way,
would think-
am I misinterpreting that? or-
I can do that.
No, but, okay, that's a great idea. That way we have different versions to look at, and make sure that they're accurate, so.
I just think for the way that technology and stuff is, I mean, might as well have it for whoever comes in office next.
For sure, keep it on the OneDrive available.
Yeah.
Right out.
Yep.
Okay, anything further from the board? Amber, Julie?
Just want to bring up, as it stands right now, after talking with Alan George, it appears there are 5 burial spaces per plot.
When it's normally. Like,
I believe he said 4,
doesn't work.
but the city can, or the Board of Works can make that however many. So I think if you want to move forward with 5 per plot or because that, I mean, that would be uniform. 5 by 10.
Does that make sense? So like section 1 right here, there's 5 in there.
Did he mention to you about the extra foot? For like. Grave?
Oh,
His wording to me was that they were measured, that they were 5 feet, and he said a normal would be 4. And he wasn't understanding why they did an extra foot per grave. So that was another question that he had.
he did bring that up, and I'm not sure why they had done that other than possibly it was consistent with how the existing section of the cemetery was.
They had a little extra room, maybe, I don't. Yeah, this is all new to all of us, right?
Right,
So
Yes, yeah.
if
So.
you asked me a question about this last January, I wouldn't have had a clue to any of it, and you can ask me that tomorrow, I'll give you the same answer, but. There's a lot to it that municipalities don't usually run a cemetery. We're learning as we go,
So there's gonna be 5 in each one of these little square
Correct.
rectangles.
correct? But that doesn't mean they have to purchase all 5.
Right.
They can purchase 2, and again, they're all gonna have their own legal description. So they can buy all 5 if they want, or they can buy 2. So I foresee a lot of these being bought. You know, all 5, they have their own section for family members and so on and so forth, so.
No reason.
All right, any further discussion on Morning Heights Cemetery? All right, very good. We will move on to the next order of business. In your packets, the board has been presented a request for an excavation permit to install new fiber at 7249 west, 200 north from Frontier Communications. Is there a motion to approve? So moved.
Second,
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the proposed excavation permit for Frontier Communications? We did send this to the department heads. There was no issues with anything submitted. Is that correct, Julia?
Right.
All right, any further discussion? No, all right, here none, all in favor of approving the excavation permit submitted by Frontier Communications for 7249 west, 200 north, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion carries. Next item of business is gonna be excavation permit request for NIPSCO at 500 Riley Road. Is there a motion to approve? So moved.
second,
All right. Any discussion on the proposed excavation permit for 500 Riley Road? This one again was sent to the department heads, no issues were mentioned. Good. All right. Hearing no further questions or comments, all in favor of approving the excavation permit submitted by NIPSCO for 500 Riley Road, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye, motion carries. All right, that is it for business items. Couple of quick announcements. Tomorrow, the lieutenant, office staff from Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith will be at the city building on the second floor. Right here where we are now, from 11:30 to 2:30. This is a, function that they call their mobile office hours, where they go to different cities. They're available to ask, answer questions, in person. The Lieutenant Governor will not be here in person, but they will be here for 4 hours, to answer any questions. So and that is tomorrow from 11:30 to 2:30. Quick updates on Front Street. They'll be cleaning up some odds and ends this week, and then next week, the milling and paving will be complete. Hopefully Mother Nature complies, and then we can, open up Front Street. Market Street, they are finishing up sidewalks, put concrete in. Again, another project that's got a scheduled date for paving. And then there's a bunch of odds and ends that they'll have to tidy up, punch lists, so on and so forth, but they are nearing completion of Market Street. So a lot of progress, and it'd be nice to get the barricades out of the way and get some streets open, but there are, Market Street, back to back. Had, one of a graduate of Delphi High School, did some drone pictures for us this morning. He's getting ready to looking to start his own business, so I gave him an opportunity to kind of show us what he had with his portfolio, and he shot some pretty neat pictures. Riley Park is back there as well. Fencing was complete this weekend. They tidied up a few things today, but the next process for that will be painting, which then we'll have to let that paint dry for a lot of time. And then put the nets in. Same goes for the basketball courts. They'll paint the court, put the new goals and rims back up, and then we'll open that up to the public as well. So exciting times for Riley Park as well. A lot of progress. Can't believe it's already September, but any board comments? Clerk Treasurer Price. Public comments. Who would like to approach the new stand, be the first one to come up front? Nobody. All right. Amber? Anything?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, just one last motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. The Board of Works is adjourned at 5:53. Thank you, Debbie.